What's going on, guys? In the works, and welcome to some close quarters. And E3 has finally come to a close, and we're back to normal. That onslaught of information that we got on Battlefield 4 has finally come to a grinding halt. With E3 ending, it's kind of exciting that we got to see all that stuff happen, all that information, but it's kind of relieving because there's less stuff to cover. And luckily for me, I didn't stress myself out about covering Battlefield 4 stuff. My stance has always kind of been that I want to put the thought-provoking commentary out there. I don't want to be the guy who's first, because that's no fun. Being first often leads to mistakes and overestimations and stuff like that, so it's oftentimes more fun to put out something it's actually going to create dialogue within your community. And I enjoy that about my channel. So I actually have something that I really thought was an interesting topic, and it's something that I haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about, with their experiences with Battlefield 4, all the people at E3. The one thing that I'm actually curious about that everyone seems to be overlooking is the tempo of the game, the pacing of the game. How fast is Battlefield 4 going to be in comparison to Battlefield 3? And we've actually gotten a lot of mixed signals, because on one hand we have a developer basically saying, hey, we thought Battlefield 3 the weapons killed too quick. You had weapons like the AEK, the F2000, the M16 that just killed way too quick. So what we did is we toned back damage on the weapons. Now, this is pretty much a confirmation in my eyes that, hey, damage is going to be probably brought down to, if I was guessing, I would say the assault rifles probably do 20 damage now. Now, is that completely confirmed? Is that in the final build of the game? No. That's mostly speculation. I mean, this is based off a conversation during the live stream with one of the head developers saying that they did bring the damage down on some of the weapons, which means it's going to kill slower. Which is a pretty obvious statement, because typically when the damage of a weapon goes down, when the fire rate of a weapon goes down, the time to kill starts to drop, especially with damage. Now, I noticed that the fire rates, that stuff's still up in the air. I have seen that the G36 is back. I think that still shot 750 in the pre-alpha build. You had the Scorpion Evo in the game, which shot 1150 rounds per minute. So there are still weapons in there that shoot pretty quick. So I think they're mostly focusing on that damage model. And like I said earlier, if I was a guessing man, I would probably say you're going to see, the base carbines, the base assault rifles come down in damage from 25 maximum down to 20. I think that would make sense, because that's similar to the way Bad Company 2 does. Now, if you watched the live stream, you probably noticed that encounters were few and far between. It seemed like there was never anyone around, and when they finally did find people, it was gobs of people. Then you might go 4 minutes before you see someone else. Now, there's a lot of factors in my eyes that play towards that. First of all, this was a pre-alpha build. There were people who have no idea how to play Battlefield playing. They didn't know the map, so I think that plays into the way it made it seem like it was slower paced. But there's a lot of signs out there that show me that they really are trying to focus on a faster gameplay experience. And if you look at the way they've tweaked the ammo and the medic pack, you actually have two different things. You have a medic pack that you can actually attach to someone. They can run away and they can heal while you're running away. There's also an ammo pack that does essentially the same thing. You put the ammo pack on them, they can run away with it, and they can get ammo as they go, which makes it seem like to me that they want to speed it up. They want you to be moving around. They want you to be taking more risk, because a lot of times what people would do, if you're playing the assault class and you get hurt, let's say you go down to 90 health, most likely you're going to play like I'm playing here. You're going to throw a medic pack down behind the wall, retreat, heal a little bit, go back out, shoot 3 or 4 people, come back, heal a little bit, rinse and repeat. I think they want you to take more risk, and I think that kind of signals to me that they're focusing on a faster style of gameplay. The next thing that's really got me thinking is the squad size. And I actually touched on this on one of my Battlefield 4 videos, saying that, squad size, they said they wanted to do it for the competitive side of things. And if they're focusing on a competitive environment, the key to being successful as a competitive game is being entertaining. You want a game that's fun to watch. Now, I personally find Battlefield 3 fun to watch, but there's a lot of audiences out there that say that Battlefield 3 can just be way too slow paced for the modern mainstream audience. And I by no means are saying that we should ever cater to a mainstream audience, but I think in the interest of the game, I think we're going to see a faster style of gameplay from Battlefield 4 because of this emphasis on the competitive side of things. I think that'll be important. But who knows? I could be completely off base with this, but that's just my speculation on it. I think that combo with the squad sizes, the ammo packs, are really going to push a up-tempo game. Now, obviously, we haven't seen a lot of maps that are close quarters, and there's way too many people in this bathroom. I'm pretty sure the capacity on this bathroom is like 2 maximum. And I don't know where that dude came from. He like got revived while we were all standing there. I was a little bit confused, as was my squad mate, but that was a very, very weird string of events. But needless to say, it was a little bit on the entertaining side. But I think that's just a good example of how quickly close quarters runs. I mean, it is a very, very fast-paced game style, and I think close quarters is kind of the test. Because one of my first impressions of Battlefield 4 when I first saw that Siege of Shanghai map is I was like, man, this looks like how I envisioned close quarters being. You know, I envisioned close quarters being these buildings where there's a lot of level fighting and you got to take the building from the outside. You know, there's outside locations that are more wide open. Then you flank inside, then you've got plenty of buildings to fight up and down on. And, you know, that's really what I expected it to be. And then when I saw the Siege of Shanghai, I'm like, man, this is totally what I was envisioning. You know, it looks like the close quarters maps just expanded upon. So I'm actually really, really anxious to get my hands on Battlefield 4 to kind of test it out, because the tempo of a game is really important. I think that's what defines a game. That's one of the biggest gameplay mechanics. I think when you sit down and you're like, all right, let's make a first-person shooter, one of the first things you have to consider is, well, do I want this to be a tactical shooter, you know, like Ghost Recon, where you kind of take your shots, you maybe get 8 kills a game, or do I want this to be a fast-paced, blazing out of your mind Halo-type shooter, or like a Call of Duty-type shooter, where you just run out there and you're never really taking a step back to think about things? And luckily, Battlefield 3 is kind of a blend of that, and I'm hoping that Battlefield 4 kind of continues with that trend. Because there's moments in Battlefield 3 where it's all about tactical movements, it's all about being in the right place at the right time, but it's not so much as it was in Bad Company 2. I think Bad Company 2 was definitely a slower paced game. I think the weapons killed much slower. You had more avenues for skill, because one of the problems that I have with some of the weapons in Battlefield 3 is that there's not a lot of room for error. And what I mean by that is if you get caught off guard with, like, let's say you have an AK-74M and you're on target first, you're getting those headshots, you can just get completely blown out of the water by an AEK hip fire just because the fire rate on that weapon is so high and it does the same damage. So I think in that respect, they need to balance the tempo a little bit better in Battlefield 4. And from what I've seen, it seems like they're really doing that. I think there's going to be a good blend of weapons that don't kill super fast, bigger squad sizes. You know, those ammo packs are going to make it so that people are going to be willing to take more risks, because they're going to get one slapped on them. They're like, well, you know, I'll heal while I move, and they're going to be good to go. So let me know what you guys think. I'm actually kind of curious. I know this was a pretty long-winded video, but I had a lot that was on my mind when it comes to the tempo of the game. Actually ended up being first place in points and kills in this game. So it was actually a pretty entertaining game with the Saiga 12 gauge. And if you missed any of my past videos, here's a chance to catch up. 2 really good Battlefield 4 videos that I definitely recommend. And like I said, leave a comment and let me know what kind of pacing you guys would like to see in Battlefield 4. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.